It's a wonderful community, and I just am so glad to see you all again. Thank you for inviting me back. So I think in 30 seconds we might be there. Let's assume we are. So I want to start today with acknowledging that it's been years since I've been here, and the reason for that we all know. So we all have been living through incredible times of stress and anguish and fear. And those things have marked us. They have impacted us. And one of the purposes of this series is to introduce you, if you haven't made its acquaintance, with a book of Hebrew Bible, what you would call Old Testament, but scholars call Hebrew Bible, that really runs the gamut, literally A to Z in the Hebrew alphabet, the Book of Lamentations. I'll explain that comment in a minute. But I want to start by giving you a little bit of an overarching background on these texts. So we're going to start with the fact that lament in the ancient Near East is a female practice. Mourners and professional mourning is attributed to women of the ancient Near East, and also part and parcel of some of our texts of Hebrew Bible. And lament as a genre, as a form, particularly the lament of a city, is also an ancient Near Eastern genre and tradition that we can date back even into Sumerian times, which is like about 3,000 years BCE. Another thing that you want to keep in mind is something you don't see in the English, and that is when I said books of despair, A to Z. Every one of the Lamentations chapters is an acrostic. Every single letter of the Hebrew alphabet begins a verse, and the third chapter does it twice, as if to really emphasize, we are going to explain to you pain, anguish, longing, hope, and fear with every single letter that lives in our language. So it's an all-encompassing text. These 5 laments that we'll be looking at for the 3-week series that I'm giving you are probably 5 of many, and were chosen later and then brought together. So they're not all written by the same writer, and we can tell. In fact, we can even tell because of whose voice is actually the author's voice, whether the author is writing from contemporary experience or from later experience. Another piece about Lamentations for us to think about are translations concerns. You know, I've talked to you so often about this. What does it say in the English? What does it say in the Hebrew? Lamentations is very sophisticated poetry. It's complicated. And if I were to bring to you my standard Hebrew text, I could show you all the times on the notes below, it says meaning of Hebrew uncertain. Yeah, despite years and years of so much study. So I'll just give you an example. In my translation, a phrase that literally means my heart is turned over. My heart is turned over is translated as I knew I was wrong. Why do I say that? That's a Jewish translation, people, not a Christian one, a Jewish translation. And why is that important for you to know? It is because traduttore vi traduttore, as they say in Italian, the translator is a traitor. Right? They have agendas. Any of you ever translated anything? Anyone? Then you know how hard it is alone to get commensurate language. What happens when words in the language you're translating from don't exist? Metaphors don't exist. Ideas don't exist in your own language. So I'll be speaking to you a lot today about the language of Lamentations 1 and 2, because there's a lot that I know you don't know that is actually in that Hebrew text. But a third and really important thing. The language of sin In fact, the word sin does not exist on a one-to-one correspondence in Hebrew, and not in biblical Hebrew. There are three words that are frequently translated as sin. One is pesha, the other one is avon, and the third one is chet. You can go home and tell people you learned Hebrew in class today. So, avon. Avon is coming from the word avera. And what is an avera? It means, I'm doing it right now,